Hello and welcome to the Domestic Workers Chronicles channel. My name is Lindy Weshibambo, the owner of Made For You, the maid of all maids, the domestic worker of all domestic, the auntie of all aunties. Yeah, so on this channel, we're talking everything domestic workers. The good, the bad, the ugly, the gory, and everything else in between. So in the past episode, we spoke about how to identify a good domestic worker. Basically, how to identify and hire a good domestic worker. And just to recap for those who are not here, and if it's the first time on this channel, it's your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please like the channel, subscribe so that you can get notification on upcoming channels. So we are continuing on the same topic where we're talking how do I identify and hire a good domestic worker. Just to recap, madam, we spoke about number one, you need to involve your family and all occupants of the household, meaning that everybody must be involved in the decision making. You hire a domestic worker. Say, for example, you had a domestic worker in the past, or had domestic workers like myself, and it didn't work out, and yet you feel your work schedule and your circumstance and everything that you're doing does not allow you not to have a helper in the house. Please get your family involved, because you'll be so amazed at the experience that we subject our families to when we hire domestic workers. So make sure that you're never comfortable when you hire somebody, and make sure when you draft the job spec and you discuss, this is the type of person we're looking for. Remember, the type of person you're looking for is the first part of your job spec. They are also part of that. The type of person, just to recap, type of person, we're talking age, nationality, religion, behavior, spirituality, whatever. The type of person you're looking for. And just to make just a very weird example, we had an employer who came from Waterfall Estate. And she said to us, guys, this is my spec. I need this and that. I need this and that. And one of the things she put in that spec, she said, I don't need anti-aparang more than size 40. So I don't want anyone size 40 and above. And we looked at that spec and we were sitting and say, how? Isn't this discriminatory, Ganti? And we thought, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's engage with her. We called Madam. Madam, you want someone who is not wearing size 40? Why? And she said, no, it's not even discriminatory or tribalist or sexist or xenophobic or homophobic. It's just that my house is a 3-story house. I had someone who was a bit bigger, and therefore they couldn't cope with the stairs because the children bedrooms are upstairs. And all of us know that the children bedrooms needs to be cleaned every day. They're like bathrooms and kitchens, right? So go crazy with the type of person you're looking for. Make sure your kids, your husband, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, whoever is an occupant of your household, participate. Right? We also do that so that emotionally and physically they are prepared that there is someone new who's going to come into our private space. Secondly, we spoke about the skill set. Guys, I cannot emphasize more than skill set. What type of person you're looking for? What skills do you need them to have? You need them to be able to cook, clean, iron, whatnot. Now my friend Evelyn her helper doesn't cook. So she wants someone who can do everything else, but she doesn't want someone who can cook. She prefers cooking for her family. I had an executive employer who said, Lindiwe, I want someone who is very good with cooking, because I don't have time to cook for my kids and my husband, but they love a home cooked meal. Mar Eve and I'll cook for myself, right? So for Evelyn, a person who can cook is not her thing, but for this executive, that is the main thing, right? Besides the basics. Right, there is basics, guys. Only generic, it's like domestic. It's when it's cleaner, it's when it's washing, it's when it's iron, it's when it's in. But there is something that is your family's X factor. So please put that into consideration. Include that in your job spec in terms of skill set. Number 3, very important, is the spec itself. And people are like, how Lindy? Why Onzor is the spec itself? It's simply, just to put it in simple terms, is that if there was an advert in the newspaper or on some career website and whatever, they would put there that we are looking for a branch manager or a marketing manager. The person must have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then they will also then specify the job spec itself. So the job spec itself is simply to say, this person will be coming in at 7 in the morning, she'll be preparing the children lunch, she'll be preparing the children uniform, bathing the children, taking them to the transport or driving them to school or to whatever. She will be expected to clean. She'll be expected to go with us to events or travel with us overseas. So therefore, batla motho a nang le passport le visa. Or she'll just be the auntie who takes care of the twins because the twins are 6 months. She'll focus on that. And in the previous episode, I mentioned this and I'm mentioning it again. Domestic work is an umbrella body. There is different types of domestic workers in that space. And I will be taking you through that in the next episode. But for today, we like the skill set. Skill is right? The job spec itself right? O ka se not auntie o tlo fitla kolomaka a kere ke mme wa itse o itse kolomaka can't why no we are saying we are changing the narrative re batla ebe a professional space and we want you to have peace of mind lo wena le bana ba hao. So it becomes important that re be clear just as much as you went and applied for a job based on the advert is because that advert was clear and thorough as to what they wanted and what was the expectation. So they will say on the job, on the advert, they will say, we need someone to manage a team of 30 people. She'll be working in Santen. This is the salary. This is what. Luena, just go crazy and just draw a long thing and say, okay, I want her to come in at 5 or wake up at 5, start by showering or bathing or whatever. I want her to take care of these kids. I want her to prepare breakfast at 5. I want her to make sure the kids are out of the house by 6. Their transport is waiting for them. So she must accompany them to the transport and make sure when they come back at 2, she's also standing there to receive them. During the day, I need her to clean this room and that room and that room. And on daily basis, this is what I want her to do. On weekly basis, this is what I want her to do. On monthly basis, this is what I want her to do. But madam, listen to me. I want to clarify everything. I want confusion. Therefore, we're not talking to auntie. Right? Another thing that I need to raise is that we also need to be open and transparent about the occupants of the house. How, Lindy, are we becoming transparent about the occupants? We need to be prepared that whoever we're going to appoint, we're going to sit them down, take them through the job spec, take them through the expectations, and take them through who we are as a family. So I have Mambe, she's been with me for more than, I think we're going for 15 years now. One of the things that I made sure I get right, and I've seen most of my clients, as you know, Made For You replaces over 10,000. I'm sure now it's going to about 14,000. Private household, resna case ya theft, resna case ya issue, resna case ya remote who just took her bags and and just left, right? So I've been with Mambe for more than 14, 15 years this year. And one of the conversations we had was to say, Mambi, sit down. Let me explain this to you, who we are. Na I'm Lindiwe. I'm an extrovert. If I don't like something, I will openly tell you. So if I see that you didn't dust properly, I'm going to throw tantrums and say, our dust that's on and whatnot and whatnot. But that doesn't come from a place of hate. The issue is the dust. The issue is not about your shoes, your complexion, your new cell phone. Because sometimes, let me tell you, the domestic workers sometimes, when you tell them this kind of things, baya go parking ka satarta ba fitla ba bolela ba re yo me deme o mpone ke tshwere cell phone e ntsha chomi a mpone ke tshwere cell phone e ntsha ha fetsa o nahana hore ke rekise ke monna hae so o mo di mutsu kanti when you were talking about the dust and because she doesn't know that's your personality and that's how you communicate, she is interpreting it in a different way. So I had to explain, this is who I am. And then I said, this is Buntle's dad. This is my partner. And Buntle's dad is an introvert. So Buntle's dad doesn't like to talk too much. Total opposite to my personality. Doesn't like to talk too much and so forth and so on. I even explained, I remember at the time, Dad was running for a club called Zwakala Athletic Club in Pretoria North. I love that club. They were preparing for comrades. So he had this massive, gruesome training program. So I had to explain, runs, wamata, uyagijima. So therefore, during the week, he comes home, he takes his gymming things, he goes to the gym, he do this. There's certain foods that are eating and so forth and so forth. And because of maybe this gruesome training, grumpy West. And on Saturdays, please, on Saturdays, don't come into the house and switch on the vacuum machine and start scrubbing things. On Saturdays, that is his day to rest based on that program. So when he wakes up and he's grumpy and he's not talking to you, he doesn't hate you. That's who he is. He hardly talks to us. Personality. And then we spoke about the kids, and I said, my firstborn, bit of an extrovert like me, teenager, therefore this is what she's going through. Sometimes she doesn't want you to clean her room. You rather clean her room once a week. La 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 la. This is how she communicates. I spoke about the firstborn, and I spoke about the secondborn, the king of the house. Very nice, very kind. If anything, my son is the one that will want to help auntie around the house. My son is the one who will say, auntie, you haven't eaten. Please eat something. My son is the one who reprimands me when I say, hey, bisang auntie to do this, ara mama, and do lapi. So that's the kind of son I have, and that's his personality. He doesn't like to be the confrontation, so don't scream at him and all that. He doesn't like that. Mutena off, he's gonna lock himself in the room and just be moody the whole day. So that's how he is. That's his personality. He was born in January. Akizi star sign is January. But January and February, people don't like confrontation. So that's how he is. And then we've got the diva, the last born. He was still, she was still getting her personality, but you can see her, she's sassy. She wants fruits and fruit salad. So I explained to Auntie that's the personality. So by the time Auntie walked into my house, Auntie knew everybody before she even met them. So let's be open, madam, to talk about these things. And also, guys, I got a question from one of the viewers, and thank you so much for that question. They said, Lindiwe, would you encourage or discourage us, employers, hiring a relative? Sure, a tough one. Personally, I did a show on Showmax. I'm sure you saw it. Called Abo Auntie, and we did a couple of episodes that were not flighted, and there are some that were flighted. And the challenges that we've seen there is people hiring someone they know or their relative. Because, and this is simple, this is simply because the lines are blurred. So if my cousin Tebo comes work for me, then she starts thinking that, oh, okay, Antuaka, or is my sister, or is my, and then those lines become blurred. The employer and employee relationship gets compromised. So there are people, of course, that have hired their relatives, and I can tell you that some of them, it has worked out, right? But in the cases that I've seen during that show and in my own personal space, running Made for You, those are relationships that I have not seen working out. I mean, if you have someone who hired someone they know and it worked out, please DM us, call us, let's talk. Maybe you'll give us some advices. Thank you for tuning in. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you so much. Of course.